Hi everyone, welcome to my gardening podcast. Today I'm sharing my personal approach to growing strong, healthy, beautiful roses. I've been growing roses for many years, and during that time I've made plenty of mistakes. Some roses thrived, some struggled, and a few didn't survive at all. But every success and every failure taught me something valuable. Everything I share today comes from my own gardening experience. There are many different ways to grow roses successfully, and different gardeners often have different methods. This is simply the approach that has worked best for me over the years. Whether you're growing roses in a garden bed or in a large container, many of these principles can help you create healthier plants and better blooms. Let's begin with one of the most common problems I see. Many gardeners focus heavily on fertilizers and flowers, but they forget that healthy roses begin below the surface. The roots are the foundation of everything. If the roots are healthy, the plant has a much better chance of producing strong growth, healthy leaves, and beautiful flowers. If the roots struggle, the entire plant struggles. That's why I always pay close attention to the soil before I even think about planting. In my experience, one of the biggest challenges for roses is poor drainage. Some soils stay wet for too long after watering or rain. When that happens, the roots don't receive enough oxygen. Over time, the roots can weaken, growth can slow down, leaves may become yellow, and flowering can be reduced. This doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes a rose looks fine for weeks or even months before problems start appearing. That's one reason why I believe preparing the soil properly from the beginning is so important. Over time, I developed a simple soil mix that I continue to use today. It isn't complicated, and most of the ingredients are easy to find. I start with 2 parts good garden loam or topsoil. This provides structure and helps hold moisture and nutrients. Then I add 2 parts well-rotted compost or aged manure. Compost is one of my favorite ingredients because it improves the soil while also feeding the plant over time. Next, I add 1 part coarse sand, perlite, or crushed eggshells. The purpose of this ingredient is to improve drainage and create more air spaces within the soil. I want water to move through the soil, not remain trapped around the roots. If available, I sometimes add a small handful of dolomite lime as well. After that, I mix everything thoroughly. When I test the mix, I squeeze a handful gently. It should hold together lightly but break apart easily when touched. That's usually a good sign that the balance between moisture retention and drainage is about right. Once the soil is ready, it's time to plant. I dig a hole roughly twice as wide as the root ball. Making the hole wider gives the roots room to expand into the surrounding soil more easily. Before planting, I always take a close look at the base of the plant. Most grafted roses have a swollen section near the bottom called the graft union. This is the knobbly area where the rose variety has been joined to the rootstock. Different gardeners have different opinions on planting depth, but my personal preference is to keep the graft union slightly above soil level. I usually aim for about 2 to 3 centimeters above the soil surface. This makes it easy for me to inspect the plant and monitor its condition. After positioning the rose, I fill the hole with my prepared soil mix. I gently firm the soil around the roots without pressing too hard. I don't want to compact the soil excessively because roots also need access to air. Once planted, I water thoroughly. This helps settle the soil around the roots and removes large air pockets. The next important topic is watering. Many gardeners ask me how often roses should be watered. The truth is that there isn't one perfect answer. The weather, soil type, pot size, and plant age all make a difference. In my garden during warm weather, I usually water deeply 2 or 3 times each week. I prefer deep watering because it encourages roots to grow further down into the soil. Shallow watering often encourages roots to stay close to the surface. A simple habit I use is checking the soil before watering. I push a finger a few centimeters into the soil. If it still feels moist, I wait. If it feels dry, it's usually time to water. This simple check has helped me avoid many watering mistakes. When it comes to feeding roses, I prefer a gentle and consistent approach. I don't believe more fertilizer always means better results. In fact, excessive feeding can sometimes create problems. Instead, I focus on improving the soil and providing steady nutrition. I often use compost tea, aged manure, and balanced fertilizers during active growth. I usually feed every couple of weeks. During cooler periods, I reduce feeding because the plants are growing more slowly. Mulching is another practice I strongly recommend. A layer of mulch helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and gradually improve the soil. Organic mulches also break down over time and add valuable organic matter back into the garden. Another topic that often worries beginners is pruning. I remember being nervous the first time I pruned a rose. I was worried that I would damage the plant. But over time, I learned that proper pruning can be very beneficial. At the end of winter, I usually remove weak, damaged, or crossing stems. Then I focus on keeping the strongest, healthy growth. Pruning helps improve airflow through the plant and encourages fresh new growth when the growing season begins. One thing I've learned about roses is that patience is important. Not every rose will perform perfectly every season. Weather changes, pests, diseases, and environmental conditions all play a role. When something doesn't go as planned, I try to learn from it rather than become discouraged. Gardening is a continuous learning process. Even after many years, I'm still discovering new things every season. That's one of the reasons I enjoy gardening so much. Every plant teaches you something. Every season is a little different. And every bloom feels rewarding because of the effort that went into growing it. To summarize my approach, I focus on creating a well-draining soil mix, planting carefully, watering deeply when needed, feeding consistently but gently, and pruning regularly. These are the simple principles that have worked best for me. They may not be the only way to grow roses, but they have helped me enjoy many years of beautiful blooms. I hope sharing my experience gives you ideas you can try in your own garden. Thank you very much for listening to my gardening podcast. I wish you success with your roses and many beautiful blooms throughout the seasons ahead. Happy gardening, and I'll see you in the next episode.